Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Pop Go the Writers. Had to let Paul do it. He started it. So,
It's my
It,
thing.
it wasn't very good.
I, Dan has a mouth that you just want to pop. It's much more poppable than mine, I guess, because
big
my pops
cheeks.
are never as good as Dan pops.
It's the big cheeks. It's also where I hold my food for the winter. All right. If you guys are tuning in and you notice there's a few extra people, it's because this is the 100th episode of Pop Go the Writers, which amazes me because I was pretty sure I was killing this thing twice or three times. I keep getting people to volunteer to co-host with me, so we keep going. But
Wow,
You
it's
threatened
weird.
my
I thought
dog.
I was being paid to do this.
Sucker born every minute.
Paul, you don't have a dog.
Not now. I left.
That's why he left. Yeah. All right. So we have Miss Rosalinda Diaz and Mr. Dan Taylor, who was the original co-host on the show when we kicked this off, and then two of our frequent guests in the beginning, who then eventually came on to be the co-host, Mr. Paul Story and our Mr. Jim Beard. So yeah, we got quite the lineup tonight. And what I really wanted to do was just kind of catch up with you guys. I mean, if everybody has seen the finale of The Mandalorian, we can talk about that. But let's first catch up with everybody and just see how things are going. And
Do you want me to just sit this part out?
no,
You got all sorts of stuff going on. I see your social media.
yeah. So,
But not as much as Dan. I don't have knitting or crocheting or whatever it is.
man.
You don't knit. You
Just
don't
because
cook.
I make dice bags now.
Jeez. When is mine arriving?
You got to pick your colors. So, all right,
I'm sorry, Paul. Co-hosts get theirs first.
It's going to be that kind of show. All righty.
Okay, so that
You
means
left.
Dan should
You
get
left.
his. Dan should get his first because he was the first co-host.
I literally have one.
Dan
here's
will
one
get
dice
his
pouch.
all right.
Here's another dice pouch. Here's a thing of dice. Got some
Okay.
dice in here.
All four of you, if you would like a dice bag, DM me the colors you want, and I will make it happen. All right? No promise of the order.
This is how I have my dice now.
Just DM me the colors you want, and we'll make it happen. Okay? All right. Let's go ahead and just do some catch up here, Miss Diaz. What have you been up to?
Oh, what have I been up to? Well, I actually relaunched a series, my School Bell series. I reworked it, revised, and rewrote a lot of the novels, and just published the last one in the series called Catch the Bride. Right here.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a sweet rom-com series that I'm really proud of. So yeah, that just dropped on April 12th. So fairly new release, available on Amazon right now. And I'm working on a young adult series that I'm just super nervous to put out because it's sort of my baby at this point. Mm-hmm. So I have a full book and a follow-up that's not as long as the first one, but it's still a full novel. The first one just ended up being really, really lengthy. And I don't want to talk about exactly what the story is, but anyway, it's a young adult novel. And so hopefully later this year, that's going to happen if I can get my ducks in a row and push it out of the nest.
Very cool. Good luck with that.
Thank you.
So, and everybody can find your current stuff on Amazon right now?
Absolutely. Yep.
Is that the best place to go, or do you have your own?
Yeah, that is the best place to go right now. Although I am looking into transitioning to direct to sales, where I can sell ebooks direct to readers and at some point paperbacks and then maybe even audiobooks. So I'm looking to transition into that. So a lot of things in the air still.
Well, very cool.
Yeah.
Mr. Taylor, our resident DM, you're out there in Tennessee doing catacombs and comedians and catacombs. I get it flipped. I'm sorry, but what's going on with your comedians out there?
Well, I never thought I'd be able to tell my folks that, hey, look, it all paid, all my D&D paid off. Apparently, I left Los Angeles to move to Nashville to become an entertainer because I don't have time to write anymore because I'm a dungeon master. I'm a professional dungeon master. I have received checks for being a dungeon master.
Wow.
I do
Now,
it
did you switch the kind of dungeon mastering you're doing? Does the new one involve leather?
No, just mostly dick and fart jokes. No, I came up with an idea called Catacombs and Comedians. I've been on the fringe of the stand-up comic scene for years throughout my entire life, managing comedy clubs and, starting as a door guy and doing all that stuff. Never have been on stage myself until about a year ago. Our first show at Zany's, the premier comedy club here in Nashville. I brought up 4 stand-up comics and we played a game of Dungeons and Dragons on stage, and I've been doing it for a year now. I've got been doing it in Huntsville, Alabama, and another comedy club, and this Wednesday in Knoxville, Tennessee, will be the first time I'm there performing at the Central Cinema. Apparently, I'm too large now for comedy clubs. I have to play theaters now. Not really. It's I have yet to have a sold-out show, but it's been an amazing journey. I've loved Dungeons and Dragons. I love stand-up comedy. I've been on stage and more than a dozen times because we've had numerous shows here in Nashville and Huntsville at Stand Up Live. Like I said, Knoxville's the first one this Wednesday. I'm probably doing a special show at Gamehole Con in, when is that, October, I believe. So yeah, it's turning into a real thing now. We've been described as the Wish.com version of Critical Role. And I wear that description with honor.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad you came on tonight because this disproves the idea that comedy was outlawed in Alabama.
Well, we can't do it in drag. I've got to cut out the drag in Dungeons and Dragons, so not just Dungeons and Uns.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think you have the beard for doing drag, unless you're being a druid.
It can't be a druid. You'd have to wear a robe.
Yeah, this is no. I've let my beard go. This is my official dungeon mastering beard. I have a dungeon master fez that I wear on on stage now. I have a different group of comics for each city I play in. I get together, and a lot of times it's their first time. They don't know how to play, and some comedians who we've played 7 shows still don't know how to play. But that's half the fun of the show.
I was gonna say, yeah.
It's like I feel like a rancher trying to herd a bunch of kittens when I play these games with these talented folks. But no, it's been an amazing journey, and it's going to keep on going. I've got the spin-off products on Drive-Through RPG. You can get Catacombs and Comedians material that I use in the show. You can use it to mess up and screw up your own D&D games at home.
Nice. Okay, so you're herding cats and you're getting ducks in a row. What animals are you playing with, Paul?
Well, we don't want to.
Mostly dust bunnies as I try and clean my apartment.
Here, I thought you meant you were checking your wallet.
That's how they got in the apartment in the first place.
If you would only start DMing, you could make some money.
Yeah, I'd be rolling in gold pieces.
Well, obviously, the first step is growing a beard.
Well, that's going to be the problem there. I can't stand them. I get to about where Jim is, and then I'm like hacking at my face with the nearest sharp implement.
Did Paul just say he can't stand beards?
Yeah.
I'll leave if
I can't stand having a beard on my face.
Hey,
No,
hey,
back
now,
off.
boy,
Listen,
listen, buddy, you haven't lived until you've had a beard.
I'm
all
fine
right,
with that.
all right, family show. Hang on. Wow, getting dark there for a minute.
Went
Hey, where
south
do you,
really quick.
Dan? Where do you think those families come from?
Oh, okay. There's so many jokes that go there.
and Dan just thought
Next-
this was a really
Next
bad
week,
idea.
Paul's story
Yeah.
comes back to replace Jim.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you
he'd
got-
have to double my pay.
What's
well, since you weren't getting paid, I could triple it.
Okay. Yeah. 3 times 0, still 0.
That's right. So you got any projects coming up, sir?
I am currently working on an original graphic novel. The publisher hasn't announced it, so I'm not publicizing who I'm working with. It's somebody I've worked with before. I'm trying to remember. Had I become an Eisner losing author?
Yes.
By the time okay, so I had already
That was for the Carpenter,
Stanley's Ghost.
yeah.
Funny animal book. We had the second one came out end of last year, which was Stanley and the Forgotten Forest, which seems to have gotten some pretty good response as well. Same team put it together, but Jeff Balke, who's the creator of that, is carrying it on his fully on his own shoulders in the writing department this time around, because I was kind of swamped with some other stuff, and I think it'll still be fantastic. But so yeah, I'm working on a young reader's graphic novel right now. So hopefully going to wrap that up very soon, because my the assistant editor said, "Now, Paul, just take as much time as you need." And Dan, particularly as an editor, knows better than to ever say that to any.
Never.
Yeah,
Yeah,
take a little more time, but not take as much time as you need, because that's.
Just saw Eric Larson posted the message: never tell a freelancer to take as much time as they need, they will.
Yeah.
Or take as much time as you want, they will.
Yeah. Well, because that's when your perfectionist tendencies kick in and you start revising, every line every day. Like, oh, wait, that could be a little bit better if I punched it up like this. And it's like, it's the opening line. Get on with it.
Yeah, I am the other end of the spectrum when it writes. I write it and I put it aside, like, okay, and I have someone else read it. I don't want to mess with it. I don't,
Yeah.
So. Well, Jim, what you been up to, sir?
Oh, we're gonna do this? Okay.
Sure, why not? I don't think we've actually caught up on what you're working on.
Boy, do I have a book for this guy.
You do, yes.
Yeah, I have. I'm working on the 4th volume of the Memories from Today's Grown Up Kids series, and that is about playing classic, old school role playing games when we were kids. It just went off to my designer / formatter, and if all goes well, hopefully in the next few weeks we'll have a finished book. It's called D20 or Die, Memories of Old School Role-Playing Games from Today's Grown-Up Kids. And it's got 24 essays from different writers about being a kid and playing all those great role-playing games from about like 1974 to 1987, roughly. And we got a really great foreword by Jim Zub, and we're really, really thrilled about that, and I can't wait to unleash it on the world.
How do you get the forwards for your book? Because you had Jim Zub for this one, you had Dan DiDio for the one you and I worked on.
I'm very lucky. I had Catherine Lee Scott, who played Maggie Evans on Dark Shadows for the Dark Shadows book. Just very lucky. I know people who know people. The guy that has done my my audio books for DC Jones, he knew Catherine and put me in contact with her. I've known Dan DiDio for forever, since he first came to DC, so I just asked him directly. And then my co-editor Forrest Helvey on the new book knows Jim Zub, and he said, "Hey, let's go to him." Like, great, we can get him. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
I've known Dan DiDio since he came to DC, and I'm pretty sure I couldn't get him to write me a doctor's excuse.
I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about that at all. I whine better than you, maybe. Is that what it is? Maybe
You're a fine whiner, is what you're saying.
No. The trick is to wine and dine.
Oh, okay. Well,
there's a second part to it.
Yeah. You know what Dan said? I was able to interview him here in my hometown for a radio station. He's promoting his new YA book, Hide or Seek, and he said that the topic really appealed to him, and it was something that he could never have talked about when he was at DC, but now that he's not, he can talk about this sort of behind the scenes type stuff. So he said it really hit him and appealed to him, and he was able to do it, and it was fantastic. It was just what I wanted.
Good.
Nice. So I have a little bit of news on my own.
Nope, and we're out of time.
Yeah, I was going to say, come on.
Good seeing everybody.
Every week.
We will be announcing soon a second Kickstarter for a second volume of Karma. So that is written, the art is done. We're pulling in the covers on it, and so it had, like I said, it hasn't been officially announced yet. But what the hell, I'm throwing it out there. And just made a deal yesterday for a new ongoing series from a small publisher.
Nice.
So we'll get to start researching and working on that. So that was a nice little call I had yesterday afternoon. So,
and which publisher, and are they looking for more stuff?
Oh, Paul, don't be that guy.
Oh, good. That's the only way I get by in this business.
Every single week, I resist saying stuff like that to Dan.
I just ride on Dan's coattails. That's my.
I'm gonna have to start putting seats in. So, all right. So, for some of you, we haven't talked in a long time, and this is a show about pop culture stuff. So, what are you guys watching? What are the shows that are getting your attention, if you get a chance, or the plays? Rosalinda, you've been traveling a lot, haven't you?
I did some traveling. Yeah, I went to Poland and Germany, and that was incredible. And I did not get to spend long enough in Germany. I was in Berlin for just about 24 hours, and I'm itching to go back. That was a fascinating place. And I'm almost finished with a young adult book called The Girl with the Red Balloon. A friend gave it to me because I was going to Germany, Berlin specifically, and that wasn't me.
I dropped the dice.
What'd you roll?
It's under the table somewhere, under my desk somewhere. So I have no idea.
And that guy can just not stop playing D&D no matter what.
I just
But it's about a girl who is in present day and in East Berlin on like a school trip and sees this red balloon hovering above the ground and grasps it, and then is transported back to 1988 East Berlin on the other side of the Berlin Wall. So yeah, that's if anyone's interested in that time period or that part of history, it's a good read.
Nice. Thank you, Kyle. Kyle says happy 100th thing, Dan. So that's to all of us. So
Kyle.
and whole crew, of course.
Yes.
So,
Sure. Oh,
Is,
sure.
is,
Now
is he
thinks of
somebody
us.
we know?
yeah. Paul, how about you? What have you been watching?
Kind of an oddball one, but I've been. Has anybody else been watching The Ark? It's a new Dean Devlin sci-fi show about basically, Earth's burnt out and they have to leave on a series of arcs. I was a little iffy on it, but I've grown to like it a lot. So, and Dean Devlin, creator of or producer on a lot of the work Leverage and The Librarians and The Outpost, and Almost Paradise was the one that yeah. So he's done a ton of stuff, and yeah, it's on Sci-Fi, I guess. I just watch it on, I don't know, Peacock the day after. So,
So you're the guy with the Peacock subscription.
I actually got Peacock for free when I signed up for Comcast Xfinity back when I moved into this place. And even though I no longer have Xfinity, they've never taken it away. So,
have you tried the Lost Symbol series on Peacock?
I did on your recommendation, and it was quite good.
Cool. Okay.
So, I didn't want to admit that, because you know how it pains me to give you any sort of compliment.
Yeah, you took my word on that. You didn't take my word on the John Malkovich Agatha Christie movie, telling you to stay away from it, and you watched it anyway.
Yeah, but you were saying it like, you were trying to entice me into watching it by saying don't watch it. I knew what you were doing. And you just wanted somebody
psychology. It's a horrible
you just
show.
wanted somebody to be in the same kind of misery you were, having watched that.
That's why I have co-hosts.
That's what I was just going to say. That's why I'm on this show.
Hey, Dan, what have you been watching and reading?
Well, I have a 7-year-old daughter, so we watch a lot of YouTube. Conspiracy theory shows on SpongeBob SquarePants are cake decorating videos, are Lego building videos, are it's quite eclectic on what I watch. I don't get to watch much because the television is controlled by Jean Louise. I do get up on certain things. I do get up early in the morning before the rest of the family wakes up. So I'm caught up on Mandalorian. I still have 4 episodes of Picard to catch up on. So don't spoil that for me. And that's about it. I have, although I went and saw the D&D movie in the theaters twice.
Research.
Yeah, I have officially hit as far as the MCU goes, I officially hit the I'll get around to it when it's streaming phase. I just can't keep up with that anymore. So that's about it. I'm most of my time is spent planning Dungeons and Dragons stuff. So
Nerd.
I do need to point out I do have a new comic book coming out.
What's coming?
It's Chris Faison, who did Hero Happy Hour with me, did the artwork this time again. It's a comic I wrote before I worked at IDW. So 113 years ago. It's my Star Marshal story. So we'll put it's 40-page comic book, and art's done. It's being lettered right now. I just haven't had time to get ready to start the promotion push for that. So it's ready, pretty much ready to go. Just got to find the time to promote it and put it out there.
You kickstarting it?
No, I think I'm going with Zoop this time.
Okay. Well, when you're ready to promote it, let me know, and I'll have you on the Dan Wickline show, and we can talk about that and your D&D stuff, and get some hype for it.
I would love to, but yeah. So, mostly right now it's just juggling time between shows and setting up for shows and promoting those damn shows. I thought I'd get away from when I left comics. I thought I'd get away from all this promotion hawking stuff, but nope. It's a hustle. I got to, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah. So, Jim, is there anything you're watching or reading that we don't normally talk about on the show?
I was going to say no. Longtime viewers of this show will be familiar with. No, I'm still doing my Doctor Who watch, and
that's right.
slowly becoming a Doctor Who fan. It's been fascinating. I just watched an episode. I'm in the middle of The Chase, which is the second Dalek storyline from the second season of William Hartnell. So I'm halfway through that, and then my co-host and I, because I do a Doctor Who podcast, as viewers of this show are probably sick of hearing by now, called the Doctor's Beard podcast. Paul would hate it.
As long as it's not on my face.
No, well, I don't. You could press your face to the screen, I guess. But it's really fascinating to go through those, and it gets even more fascinating when we hit a missing episode and we have to decide. Are we going to watch a telesnap of it? Is there animation of it? Is there really, really bad fan animation of it? Or maybe we have to just listen to the audio and kind of, muddle through it. But it has been really, really fun. Otherwise, I had to get a BritBox subscription to watch it. So I thought, oh, well, what else is on this thing? And I've been watching the something I had never watched before in its entirety, which is the Jeremy Brett Sherlock Holmes. And I'm just loving that. That stuff is just so great. I have to control myself to not, watch too much of it. I just now am into second season. I watched The Empty House, and
that's a good one.
And boy, that guy. he's just amazing. Other than that, I watch The Mandalorian and whatever Marvel stuff that comes out so that we can talk about it on this show.
Speaking of missing episodes of British TV, I found that the Avengers, the British 60s spy com, is on Amazon. So I was going and setting it up. So I had all the seasons ready to go, and I was going crazy because I couldn't find season 1.
Yeah, I was going to say it. I think it mostly doesn't exist, or it doesn't exist.
Yeah, pretty much. I think there's a couple of like fragmentary episodes, but it also was like nothing like the rest of the series, because it was there was some doctor who was sort of the main character. Yeah, it's a male. Was sort of his sidekick a little bit, and it wasn't until I did a lot of season 2 because I wanted to see Honor Blackman doing the Avengers, and then season 3 is the introduction of Diana Rigg plus the introduction of Famous Theme, and then when you hit season 4, that's the first color, and it's McNee and Rigg in fine form, and that's just that's definitely worth checking out.
So you're saying the Avengers existed before Ray Fiennes and Uma Thurman?
Yes, exactly. And weirdly, Sean Connery was apparently busy doing something else at the time, because he didn't appear in any of these previous adventures.
He didn't really appear in the new one either. I've
actually never seen the Avengers movie, so I can't.
Have you, talking about the Avengers, have you given Pennyworth a shot?
Which one? Oh,
Pennyworth?
Pennyworth? Not yet. Not yet.
Pennyworth is if you took a young Michael Caine from, say, around the era of Alfie and dropped him into the Avengers. That's what it is. And it gets crazier and crazier as it goes. I started watching the third season. It's the final one, but it is so completely insane.
Yeah.
But the guy playing Alfred is so much like Michael Caine. It's scary.
Yeah, they were even going to call the show Alfie Pennyworth.
Yeah, and they call him Alfie in the show, so it just really, it just really taps into that whole thing. But it's supposed to be a prequel to Gotham, but it is so much the character from the Batman Begins. So much so.
Yeah, and of course we all know that the guy who starred as Alfred in Gotham was the son of the third
Doctor Who. Yeah, Sean Pertwee.
Oh yeah, we all knew that.
Yeah. Actually, I just started rewatching something that Sean Pertwee was in, Camelot, from 2011. Sean Pertwee was in that. That's where I first noticed it.
Have they ever had Sean play his father as Doctor Who?
They haven't, but he did dress as his father for Halloween one year, and there's some pictures of him online, and he looks so perfect.
I would imagine so. Yeah, I was wondering about that.
But has he learned any Venusian Aikido?
Well, of course. His dad obviously taught him.
Well, good point. It's hard without 4 arms, as Jodie Whittaker pointed out.
Yeah, that's true. So, a couple things I'm watching right now that we don't normally talk about, but I started watching The Night Agent on Netflix, which really good first episode. If you're into like spy thrillers or stuff like that. Second season of Perry Mason with Matthew Rhys. The first season was so good. So I'm getting into the
second season.
Yeah, it just started about a month or two back, so they're still rolling them out. I'm a little behind, but I got to catch up. And what was the other thing? There's a show on with Charlie Cox as a member of MI5 or MI6 in the British service, and that is really good too. And it's got Olga Kurylenko, who plays the
Taskmaster
in it as well, and that's also really good. So it's some good spy thriller stuff's out there right now. Just to get away from the superhero stuff a little bit.
Yeah. Have you been watching True Lies at all?
Is that a series now?
There's a series now with Jennifer Gonzago, I believe her name is, who was Jennifer's best friend in She-Hulk.
Okay.
And paralegal, whose name I can't remember in the show. And then some guy who I'd probably seen in something before, who is not built like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Very few people are.
Yes.
There's him, there's me, and that's about it,
Yeah, right. And Rolf Moeller.
What's his name? Who was in the original True Lies is in it. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Tom.
Tom Arnold.
Arnold.
Tom Arnold.
Tom Arnold's gonna.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
haven't gotten
know for
to him
sure
yet,
he was still alive.
Yeah. Apparently he's moved back to Michigan, so he's around here somewhere. It's strange I haven't bumped into him. There's only millions of people here.
That's not what I heard.
Thank you, Jay. Jay says, congratulations on 100 episodes. That's more than most TV shows nowadays, especially if you're on Netflix.
Yeah.
We
have a cake.
An 8-episode season. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Well, they just or on Disney Plus, they've canceled a bunch of seasons too. They just canceled National Treasure.
Did they really?
Yeah. So I watched a couple episodes of it. It wasn't that good, but
I mean,
I
basically,
watched the whole thing. It was all right.
yeah. I mean, like an 8-episode season is like a miniseries, right? It's not
Yeah.
a season. It's a miniseries.
How do you people have time to watch so much TV?
I
They
don't
gave
have
up
children.
D&D for Lent.
none of us have children.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. No.
By the way,
I don't have pets or children that I document on social media 24/7.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I watch
frees up
TV
a
and
little bit of
crochet,
time.
and I can do them both at the same time. I got to tell you, Dan, when you said that Katie's your wife, Jean Louise is 7, man, that makes me feel old. Because I remember running into you at WonderCon, and she was still in a stroller.
Yep.
And I think that may be the last time you and I have actually seen each other in person.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, that was her first convention. She's turning into quite the. I'm doing my best turning into quite the little nerd. She wants to grow up to be a YouTube Lego influencer. That's
Nice.
her goal, and I, of course, am all for it. And Mother, much to her chagrin, is not.
Have you guys watched Lego Masters?
She started to. We've watched a little bit of it. I don't like Will Arnett, so that's.
Oh well, yeah. If you can't put up with Will Arnett, it's probably not. So,
but we watch so much Legos on YouTube.
okay,
it's amazing, and I have my favorite Lego YouTube people. There's a girl in New Zealand who does a great job.
some of those people have ended up on the show on Lego Masters.
Do they just build sets, or do they build their own stuff?
They do everything. They review the sets, and then they come up with other ideas on how to make them better, or do this or do that. But Jean Louise has, she designed her own. She's going to start playing D&D this summer, so she's already come up with her character.
Wow.
An elf that wears a fanny pack.
You need to introduce her to the artist Craig Hamilton, who is a fanatic about Legos. We were talking at a convention once. He has a room in his house dedicated to Legos, including toolboxes where each drawer is a different color of Lego. So like he'll open one drawer and all the pink. He was looking for pink Legos, by the way. That was his thing at the time, was to get as many pink Legos, and he designs them himself. He designs ships and stuff.
Jean Louise has drawers and craft tackle boxes and all. She has her whole room upstairs devoted pretty much just to Legos. It's amazing.
I applaud her and think she should run with the influencer idea.
Yeah.
I was at I've been dealing with some injuries and been seeing a lot of different doctors, and so I've got a couple different doctors I see on a regular basis. And for some reason now, whenever I go see them, the conversations are never about the medical stuff. It's always about, I got one guy that I have to explain all the Marvel movies to. I've got another guy. Well, this last appointment turns out that this one guy is a huge Lego guy and has been collecting all the big Star Wars ones. He's got the Death Star. He's upset that he didn't get the first edition of the Millennium Falcon. He got the second one, which is built better. So I come home and my mom's like, "What'd the doctor say?" He's really upset he didn't get that first Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
She's like, "What?"
I had a doctor like that back in California who wanted just to talk about Marvel movies. And I think that's just because, he threw out there that, and we went to Halloween. I can't remember what he said he dressed up, but his wife dressed up as, Black Widow, because she looks like Scarlett Johansson anyway. I'm like, yeah, let's throw that out there too. Your doctor, your wife looks like Scarlett
So
Johansson.
you're rich and a bastard. Got it.
Yeah, okay.
speaking of movies, although not Marvel movies, has anybody seen the second Shazam movie?
No.
There's just so much stuff. Like I still haven't seen Quantumania. I haven't seen the
I saw Quantumania.
yeah. I made the mistake of watching Black Adam.
Well,
I love the parts with Hawkman and Dr. Fate.
Sure.
If we could have just cut out all the Black Adam stuff and just focused on the Justice Society, I think I would have really enjoyed the movie. I didn't hate
I
the
would
movie.
have probably loved a Justice Society
Yeah.
movie. Big Aldous Hodge fan. So
Thank you, Ed. Oh yeah, Aldous Hodge is great. Pierce Brosnan's great. That's why I went to the movie, or I didn't go to the movie. I got it on a disc. But so
yeah.
all right, let's go ahead and switch into The Mandalorian. Since we're all caught up on it, we can talk about it. The show has come to its conclusion with probably one of the most straightforward, non-twisty-turny endings, with almost like this idyllic series finale, happy ending, even though it's not supposed to be the series finale. Their production on season 4 is supposed to start at the end of this year, like in October or November. The scripts are supposed to already be written, so no worries about that. But am I the only one that thinks that all of the expectations and all of the, there's got to be another spy, all that stuff, just out the window, and we got this very straightforward ending?
Well, I think honestly it was never in the window.
Yeah.
Because it was just never there. It was just something that fans decided, because there was an S in an episode title, that there must be
I was seeing a lot of people saying that after that episode, had come out, where they're like something like, the problem was me all along, and I felt pretty humble.
Taylor Swift was right.
Yeah.
They, it shamed me. I walked away and thinking, like, all that stuff that I was waiting for and looking for was all because of me, because I couldn't go into it with a positive attitude. I had to have, traitors and other darkness or whatever. And here it was good old Star Wars with a happy ending. And who saw that coming? Not me.
I was a little upset that they didn't introduce Mephisto.
Mephisto. Yeah, there you go.
No, that's who got Moff Gideon there at the end.
yeah, that's right.
Well, this is weird. All these people I know are like, Moff Gideon's dead, and it's like, what? Have you never read a comic book? No body, no death. Like,
plus,
he's dead. He's not dead.
Plus, they just introduced clones. Yeah, he has clones.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
There's no way he could come back.
Well, my fan theory about him is that he got cooked inside that armor, so now he's even more like Darth Vader. He's more machine now than man.
Yeah.
Twisted and evil.
My dream is that he dropped into the water and was swallowed by the mythosaur.
I think inside that suit, he's more like El Pollo's Hermanos chicken than he is anything else at this point.
If the show ended now and there was not a season 4, I would be content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would not necessarily be.
I can't do this right. That.
I don't know if I'd be 100% satisfied with the overall, but I'd be okay. That was a good little run. I'm done. Yeah. So next season I may not wake up at 5:30 in the morning to catch it before the family gets up. I might see it when I see it, like I do everything else nowadays, which means I never see it. But
well, he might only be we don't know. He might be just a guest star in this next season. It could literally be about Bo-Katan, and Din just comes into it every once in a while, kind of the opposite of what we had now, where she was the guest star.
If it's like Boba Fett, he'll be in half of Ahsoka.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So
right.
I think the whole 4 seasons just going to all be Ragnar.
Okay. Well, I don't think I'd be
You guys
interested.
are paying attention there.
Yeah.
Could,
Yeah.
All right.
could he learn to act?
Hey.
Let's go with their overall opinions, and we'll start with Rosalinda. What did
Okay.
you think of the season overall?
I didn't love it. I did forget to watch it during some weeks, and then I would be like, "Huh, did I see The Mandalorian?" And go in and be like, "Oh, nope, didn't see it." It didn't pull me in like the first season did, or even the second. I was and I'm sure you guys talked about this, but Grogu returning from his Luke camp, like none of that felt like why is he here? Why is he back?
Had you not watched Book of Boba Fett?
No. Oh, was that explained in that? Okay.
Yeah, there's 2 episodes of Book of Boba Fett that covers all of that.
Ah. See,
Didn't you know you have to watch
kind of
everything?
all the extra stuff that goes along with the new stuff. Okay. Well, then I'll go back and do that.
So you should
not
be watching
alone.
the show.
You're not alone.
Yeah.
I've
No.
known people who've said that same, exact thing, and they're like, "What?" Like,
I'm the
yeah,
guy
you
that liked
watch
Book of
these-
Boba Fett more than The Mandalorian, but I stand by myself on that, apparently.
Okay.
Get out.
Yeah. So, or did I watch some of Boba Fett and just totally blanked out? I do recall something. I don't know right now. Yeah, as a whole, I thought the season was a little disappointing, and I thought some of the episodes I was just like, dude, I'm bored. I didn't care. I just didn't care about some of the the tangents, and I know they're good at the episodes aren't long, so they're going off and showing you what's over here, so they can show you what's over here, and then pull this thing in back over here, and then it'll all make sense. But some episodes, I was like, I just could care less. But I really did like the finale, and like Dan said, like if that's it, like I'm good. I'm content with that.
Paul, what are your thoughts on the overall?
Well, I have to say, I'm not as enraptured with the whole mythology of the Mandalorians as many seem to be. This the kind of like it's the it's like the Clone Wars fans who got all hooked on Mandalorians in Clone Wars, and now I mean, I'm all for anything that puts more Katie Sackhoff on my screen, but in general, the show is called The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So I expect one guy most of the time.
Not all the Mandalorian. There was no S.
Yeah, no S. Now if it was the Teva Carson show, I don't care what it would call. That would be plenty good. I was glad to see him back. I don't know. I liked it fine. I enjoyed a lot of it. But yeah, the whole like the greatest warrior bounty hunters in the galaxy can't figure out a way to save their kids from dino vultures. I mean, there was just some moments where I'm like, you're kidding me here, right? There's got to be some secret thing going on.
So
here.
you're saying that after a few kids were taken, they should have moved or something?
Or, prepared defenses. Yeah. I'll be honest. There were points in this season where I was like, if all the Mandalorians go and drown in the living waters under the under the surface, I'm okay with that, because I got a little tired, except of course of Katie Sackhoff. That's because I'll never get tired of Katie Sackhoff. She's dreamy, and an excellent actress, and yeah. But yeah, I just it was good. Finale was all right. it was a nice kind of, triumphant closure thing. And the tin can heads and the flesh heads getting along.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Chorus of Kumbaya. It's probably the only thing they could have added.
As much as I'd like to hear Paul try to defend Katie Sackhoff's accent choice on The Flash, since he's such a big Katie Sackhoff fan, we're going to save that for another time.
Not Katie Sackhoff doesn't even defend that choice.
But Dan, what did you think of the third season?
Yeah. So,
well, let's say I didn't care that Lizzo, fine. Jack Black, whatever, The thing that upset me about that episode is when they go over to join the other mercenary ones, and he's saying, well, you can't control us. You can't be a leader because you don't have the black saber. And then Din just goes, yeah, you know what? She did rescue me, so I guess this is hers anyway. What? Why didn't he just give it to her back at the, when he went skinny dipping and, because it
didn't occur to him.
That's, oh, by the way, here, whatever, I've been carrying this,
We've been mispronouncing his name all along. It's Dim, Jared.
Yeah, that's what upset me the most. I'm like, you've got to be, this is the laziest storytelling I've ever witnessed in my life. And I sat through the prequels. But I don't hate it. I mean, I got some Star Wars figures behind me. I mean, Miggs was the best part of the series still, and he wasn't even in episode 3.
Why don't you want Katie to have pretty things, Dan?
I don't. I'm not that big a fan. I never. To me, Starbuck is always, face from A-Team. That's my Starbuck. Dirk
Benedict. Yeah.
So, I like how you don't even know the actor's name.
I was getting there.
He's still submerged.
I was getting there. But anyway, and then I think there was something in the last episode, they just, I don't know, just rather than tell us or show us how they wrap things up, they just, side note, I should have given this to you already. We needed that robot IG-88 Grogu mech for just, for this element here, I like how when the Mandalorians fly away, look, I know a place where we can hide. They'll never find us. And they go to this place to explain that the gardens are growing again, but they hide for a whole 6 minutes. And let's go back out. We don't need to hide anymore. Just come on,
Yeah.
I mean, it has gotten very fan fiction-y in a sense, where it's not even that much fan service. I mean, yeah, it was great to see Christopher Lloyd finally be a part of the Star Wars universe, but that was like a throwaway CSI episode or Law and Order episode. I kept waiting for to see two guys, like in every Law and Order, there's those two guys emptying the truck where they're like, when they discovered the body and then they come and check it. Well, we're too busy to stop and talk to you. We're going to keep moving while we do,
But see, that's why they had Jack Black and Lizzo, because if not, it would have been a total Law and Order episode. Because as soon as you saw Christopher Lloyd, you knew he was the bad guy.
Yeah, don't touch that button.
That's right. The big name guest star, that's always the killer.
The one episode where it was all about Dr. Parrish, and that was just Pershing or whatever his name was. It was just
they could have put that in Book of Boba Fett and moved when the Book of Boba Fett episodes over there.
Yeah, it was. It's getting too, I don't know, uneven. I kind of wish there was not going to be an episode 4 and I could just be happy with, the Mando living on his farm with his feet kicked up. I did like how the rebels have that Baba Black Sheep type of camp now. I kept waiting to see Corsairs and, stuff from that, Black Squad or
little pit bull running through. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Robert Conrad.
Exactly. Thank you. I could definitely not remember Robert Conrad's name.
Young John Larroquette takes his helmet off.
That's
Oh,
right.
yes.
Larroquette was a member of Baba Black Sheep.
Hmm.
So just, I next season I'll watch. I'm not going to worry about getting episode spoilers are ruined for me because they've spoiled the show enough. I don't care.
Wow.
I don't hate it. I just
Yeah. Jim, how about you? What do you think?
Oh, we're out of time. next
You
week,
got 6 minutes.
I guess I'm just easily entertained. I enjoyed it, but I will say this: there is some very interesting plotting choices that these guys are making that sometimes I can't figure out. I try to put myself, in their mindset and think of it, like, come at it as like a writer and plotter, and sometimes I think I can see where they were going or what they were trying to do, but it is some very odd construction choices, but I mean, still overall I enjoyed it. I don't think I enjoyed it as much as second season. I think second season is probably still my favorite. And again, I had to do that thing where I said, okay, how much of this is me expecting this, and this, and they didn't deliver it because they never intended to deliver it, and how much is it the fault of the show? I really, 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 and Dan knows this, I really did think that there was something going on with the armorer, and maybe there still is, and they decided to keep stringing it out, but that's where I don't think that I was reading into it. I really truly think that they were telegraphing some things, and if it was a red herring, I don't know. Maybe there needed to be a little more follow up, on that. But again, I enjoyed it. I think I was fascinated by how it shifted to Bo-Katan, a character that I didn't know because I didn't watch all the animated stuff. That's one thing the show really does do well for me personally, is it really does draw me into characters that I didn't know otherwise, and I find myself being interested. I'm really excited about Ahsoka. I thought the trailer was
I am too.
Yeah.
But I didn't know Ahsoka before she appeared in last season Mandalorian. I had to go and kind of read some stuff, or ask some people certain things about it to get it. But that's what it's still doing is it's still being able to draw me in for characters that don't really have any, previous impact on me. But again, I enjoyed it. I walked away from it and said, I'm still enjoying this. As long as it can give me my Star Wars fix, and these last two episodes, I said it on Facebook, that's some good old Star Wars there. I just want some starfighters and dogfights and stuff blowing up.
yeah, give me the space wizards and laser swords, and
I think you're going to get plenty of that in Ahsoka.
I like again, if I came off strong, I didn't hate it at all. It just, in fact, I liked it more than Andor, because Andor I thought tried too hard not to be Star Wars. It was a fine show in its own right, and it was enjoyable and good, but it wasn't Star Wars.
Yeah.
So, I will, like I said, I'm going full blown on Ahsoka. If Mandalorian season 4 comes out, I'll be on that, and I'm interested to see how he ties it all together, and Filoni ties it together in the movie that's down the road.
Yeah.
But come on, that IG 80 11
IG 11 and IG 12
was
12.
just to sell a new toy. They didn't need that at all.
No. If anything, I thought the IG-11 was a worse thing for Grogu, because when that boat thing was being blown up, they literally had to pick him up and carry him off the boat, where his little bassinet on, hover bassinet would have just flown him off. But
no, the robot was pure I think comedy factor. I mean, give a toddler its own autonomy and his no button. I mean, I
And
laugh.
then here's another thing that gets me. He should have removed his helmet at one point in this season. He should have to take his helmet off for some reason every season, because I see so many different guys now at conventions who play the Mandalorian. I don't even think what's his name shows up for work anymore. He just I have no connection with that character anymore because I don't know who's in that suit.
That way lies madness. I do that to myself, and then I have to stop doing it, and because I get to the point where I say, I'm pretty sure Pedro's only doing the voiceovers at this point. I don't know. I don't know what he does or what he doesn't do anymore.
All right, I'm going to give you the insider stuff that I've been hearing.
Okay.
Grain of salt, but originally this season was going to be very different. The idea was that Grogu wasn't going to come back till the end of this season. But the studio and the higher ups pushed them to get him back quickly. That's why they wedged those scenes into Book of Boba Fett.
Okay.
Because I think Book of Boba Fett was actually going to be a shorter series. They expanded it to put all that stuff in it because they wanted Grogu back by the beginning of the series. So it would have been
right. That was a studio choice.
Yes.
Right. So the creatives were like, "Oh, great. Okay."
They had to rejigger so much of the series to make it work.
Well, I wouldn't say it worked, Dan.
Well, no, it didn't not work. But Pedro Pascal was supposed to have his helmet off near the end of the series, but there was a scheduling conflict and they couldn't get him on set for the final episode to do it. But he was on set for other filming. And he does show up quite a bit and does do some of the scenes. But if it's a fight scene, then it's Lateef Crowder. Sure. If it's a gunfight scene, then it's Brendan Wayne.
So he gets in and out of the ship.
Yeah.
I could do that.
He does the emotional scenes with Bo-Katan,
Yeah. We never see these emotions because he's got his helmet on.
That's acting, man. It's acting.
You see more emotion from Pedro Pascal with the helmet on than you ever saw from Warren Beatty, who refused to wear a prosthetic nose, and Dick Tracy because it would disguise his capillary response and people wouldn't know he was acting.
That's funny.
Who hurt you, Paul?
There was that thing not long ago about how Warren Beatty keeps screwing over the Dick Tracy people because he's mad about something. So every few years he puts out a
to keep
special
the rights,
with 20 minutes of new.
Yeah. He's just working the rights thing. But,
to me, people were going, "That's so cool," and I'm going, "He's a jerk."
Yes.
So it was Warren Beatty who hurt me.
I could have done without the whole IG-11 thing. That was ridiculous. I actually loved the episode with Lizzo and Jack Black because I like film noir, and that's what it was. When Mando says that line, "You had me at the robots,
battle droids.
You had me at battle droids." I thought that was I wasn't disturbed by Lizzo being in the show because I had no idea who Lizzo was.
That's me. I had no idea who that was.
Jack Black
was somebody, but
Christopher Lloyd was great. Jack Black I could have used to tone down the Jack Blackness a little bit, but other than that.
Well, let me get this straight. Lizzo knighted Grogu for helping her cheat in that croquet game that they were playing.
Yes.
That's about how a monarchy works.
Are you saying that isn't something our current politicians wouldn't do in a heartbeat?
What do you do?
Yeah.
I still think that that's going to play into the future of the Mandalorians because they have a connection to people who know how to build dome cities, and Jack Black's character was an engineer and an Imperial engineer. So I mean, I think, and they are in the debt of Bo-Katan and Din, so I have a feeling that might play into somewhere down the road that they can help them rebuild.
And Star Wars is starting to go full Feige, where the audience didn't like that. Well, you're going to get a lot more of it now until you do like it. Hence,
the beatings will continue until morale improves.
Everybody is excited to see Trevor Slattery again in the upcoming Wonder Man series. They hated him in Iron Man 3. That's all I'm saying.
So you're saying Jar Jar will be in next season, right?
Jar Jar is obviously the okay. This will be the last thing. The use of Ahmed Best as the Jedi who saves Grogu, and if you do the logic, that's a senator's Naboo ship. That's a Naboo Senate cruiser with the Senate guard, and Padme was a little busy, so that obviously
there's only 2 Naboo.
That's right. So that's obviously it was Jar Jar who sent the ship to save Grogu.
Yep.
It does seem like they are kind of trying to redeem Jar Jar too.
Yep.
He'll be back.
So
somehow Jar Jar returned.
Nice. And they are trying to take care of the whole somehow Palpatine returned thing with all the cloning. So.
Project Necromancer.
Yep.
I did like Moff Gideon and his bit from Martin Short used to do the defense lawyer on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in cloning. You're the one that's interested in cloning. I'm not interested in cloning. Why would you even say that?
And I thought it was kind of a ballsy move that when you think about Ahmed Best to bring him back is fine, and I love that. Let him. But that episode was kind of a backdoor pilot to that new Muppet Babies version of Jedi Academy that they have coming out. That he's going to voice the instructor for.
Oh, Kellerman Beck. Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a dark fucking backdoor pilot for a kids show.
And he was on the Jedi Temple Challenge thing as that character. So it's like that's going into a weird place to pull from.
Yeah. Especially with the state that America's in right now. I'm like, whoa, it gave me. Yeah.
Don't forget, Boba Fett first appeared on the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Oh, I know.
Let's not forget that, okay?
And the thing Jim mentioned about how people are hating shows because they don't live up to their expectations. We aren't just watching shows now.
Yeah.
We're writing them in our heads and then expecting it to play that way.
Yeah.
Do you know that people are already have a conspiracy about Moff Gideon is still alive because that wasn't Moff Gideon because he didn't have a mustache. They're calling it Mustache Gate because all of his previous appearances, Giancarlo Esposito has a mustache. The clothes and in the armor, he has no mustache.
No, he had the New Republic shaved it off when he was a prisoner of them.
It burned off when his ship exploded.
I think people just have too much free time.
You think?
And too much access to YouTube channels.
Yeah,
they need to
become writers and editors and publishers.
Better than the writers.
Exactly.
So, all right, guys, this has been a lot of fun. So let's go around real quick and hit your guys' plugs. Where can people see you? What do you got, Rosalinda?
Okay, Rosalinda first. Thank you for having me back on, Dan. This was a lot of fun. You can find me on Amazon, Rosalinda Diaz, or rosalindadiaz.com. And I'm also going to be at the Bookworm bookstore in Camarillo on May 27th doing a book signing.
Yay!
Excellent. All right. Mr. Paul?
You can find me at Storyville, STORIEVILLE.com, and Storyville on most of the social media sites, unless I don't know about it yet. And I think my next appearance is coming up in June at the Ann Arbor Comics Art Fest in Ann Arbor, Michigan, hosted by the Ann Arbor District Public Library.
Nice. You got your next DM game coming, or D&D game coming up. What's going on with you, Mr. Taylor?
Let's see. I've got Catacombs and Comedian show, live Catacomb and Comedian shows on stage with comics playing Dungeons and Dragons. This Wednesday, the 26th, in Knoxville, Tennessee, at Central Cinema, and then May 25th, I have the show in Huntsville, Alabama, at Stand Up Live Comedy Club, and then July 11th, I'm back in Nashville. At Zany's Comedy Club, all Dungeons and Dragons, Catacombs and Comedians live shows. You can find out more at catacombscomedians.com, or look for Catacombs and Comedians on Facebook, or Catacomedians, kind of because I couldn't put Catacombs and Comedians on Twitter and Instagram and all that sort of stuff. But if you go to the website, it has links to all those, and social media is the best way to follow along.
By the way, do you record those, and are they on YouTube, or do you stream
Some
them?
are. There is a Catacombs and Comedians YouTube channel. You can watch some. Some of the shows are available. It's just hard to. I don't have the budget to get somebody to actually sit there and film and to record them, the video. So some of them are. I think with 3 shows we've got the show, and then we're also trying to do an internet version of Catacombs Comedians on Twitch. First and third Wednesdays of every month, but it is so hard to schedule comedians together at the same night to be able to play live. So we're going to start putting them in the can and releasing them later down the road. So, and if you're in the Nashville area at the Gamekeep, a store in Hermitage, just outside of Nashville, every other Friday night, I DM for the public as a Catacombs and Comedians game, and it all ties into the shows, and I've got overlapping story arcs and all sorts of things going on between the game store and all the stage shows and the internet streaming shows. So.
Nice.
And Star Marshal's comic book will be coming. News on that will be breaking relatively soon.
Okay. Jim, where can people find your stuff?
Firstly, it sounds like all the Disney Plus Star Wars shows. They all kind of overlap and kind of intertwine.
Yeah, it's my own. It's Catacomediaverse, I call it.
Okay. You can find my books on Amazon.com. Just put in my name there, and you'll see all my books. You can find me on Facebook at the Jim Beard and Becky Books page, and also the Flinch Books page, and then I'm on Twitter at writer Jim Beard. I have a show on June 3rd. It's called Monster Fest, and it's funny. I can't remember the town that it's in. It's in Ohio. It's in the Akron-Canton area, and strangely enough, it's like a Bigfoot festival type of thing. But I did one last year, I think it was, and it was like one of my best shows. It was I was trying to do different kinds of shows, and it was like a cryptozoology show, and I loved it. It was fun. But my big show of the year is first weekend of August, and that's Pulp Fest in Mars, Pennsylvania, just outside of Pittsburgh, and that's the big show of the year. And I'll have the new role-playing game book. I'll have the new DC Jones novel, and then with Flinch Books, we're very soon going to be coming out with a Western anthology that we're really excited about. So some cool stuff that coming out.
Anthology, you say?
Yes, it's already filled. I'm sorry, Paul.
Well, I wear a size 15.
Okay.
I wear a size 15 shoe. Should I show up to the Bigfoot Con? Just anybody who missed Karma, the Michael D. Pascal Risque cover is currently in previews, so you can get that. Otherwise, all the regular covers, the different covers are available on Amazon, along with a bunch of my other stuff. I'll have some announcements soon on the second Karma volume and the new series. And You can find me probably at the yarn aisle at the local Michael's. That's about it for me.
Dan,
I will-
hasn't the League of Decency shut you down yet? I'm
They've tried. They have absolutely tried.
okay.
So I will be doing the Dan Wickline show this week. We will be talking about, God, I'm not even sure what we're doing. I've been doing the rewatch series and all the
Sounds like
MCU stuff.
Blockbuster Writers.
But without the Mandalorian, I got to fill 3 episodes this week. So
Oh,
Yeah.
no problem. Just do Picard.
Yeah.
I don't have Paramount Plus. I have enough streaming services. I don't have Paramount Plus, but yeah, I could get around to doing that one. Just watch it all at once. But all right, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you, all of you, for not only tuning in, but for all the times that you guys were on the show. And please come back anytime. You know, if you got something to plug, whether it's on here, you want to come on the Dan Wickline show, just let me know. We'd love to have you back anytime.
Can I come
Thanks-
back next week?
Thanks for having us, Dan.
Yes, Jim, you can come back next week.
I want my old job back.
I'm about ready to give it to you, Paul.
Yeah, I bet you're about ready to give it to me.
Are we going back to the beard on the face thing?
No,
What's
no.
going on here?
Good night.
And with that, we're out of here. Thank you all.